Well, the first battle?
No, it wasn't even a battle at all, bro. It was actually a childhood story of hers. I've been listening to this. It's a 15-hour audiobook of Joan of Arc. It's like a recollection of all her entire life. Like it's just stories collected.
So she didn't just become a badass at one point. She's been a badass.
She's been a badass her entire fucking life, apparently.
She was chosen.
She did not live the norm of being your woman, so to speak. Like she was living that. Sorry, I'm playing the game too. I did not know I was not allowed in here. Fuck. But yeah, she didn't do the norm as like your normal woman would do back in those times. Which in those times, fuck.
She would fuck?
No, in those times it was like in the 1500s. So at that time, the place of a woman was just basically take care of the kids, tend to normal things around the house, and nothing really too many.
14, 19.
But on this story, apparently, they heard about this. They got a warning in their small town that there was a maniac going around with an axe. He was an axe-wielding maniac, pretty much.
Yeah.
So they kind of give the gist of the story, and so they warned everybody to go inside, let the authorities take care of it. And she was like, "No, we should go and try and find this guy."
Right, stop his reign of terror.
Her friends like, what the fuck are you talking about? And before they could talk her out of it, she took off. So she tried to find this guy.
So because
she knew who he was.
At this time?
No, she was like maybe a teenager at this point.
Maybe
Hey, like 13, 14 years old, I would give or take.
Which back then, they were a 14-year-old, these roughest.
Or a 9-year-old. She could have been young, like in between that 9, 12-year-old range.
Right.
But, because she knew who this guy was, and he was just a little bit off. Well, everybody's mind, you doing shit like this, you're going to want to kill this guy instantaneously. Like, you don't want to deal with it. Fuck that.
I'm like tired, bro. That shit wore me down.
And
that's what she said. And then that's what Joan of Arc said after she found the serial killer. Did she find him?
Well, she found him, and what happened is like everybody else is scared to go up against this guy or walk up to him because he's a little bit out of deranged, or a little bit deranged, and
like a berserker. Pretty
much. And he's wielding an axe, and this guy's giant. And she walks up to him and basically talks to him, calms him down, and the guy picks up his axe and puts it down. And Joanne, arm in arm with this guy, is walking back into town. And everybody asked her, like, well, were you worried at all about you? She was like, well, no, I wasn't worried at all about my own safety. But I was worried that if we didn't calm this guy down, he was going to hurt everybody else in town. And I didn't want him to get hurt either. So she took it upon herself to walk up to this man, unarmed, to basically talk him down.
So who did he kill?
He didn't kill anybody.
Oh, I thought he was a serial killer.
Well, no, you assumed he was a serial killer because he was an axe wielder. He's just a little bit nuts.
Oh, okay, so he was just like going crazy. He was like having PTSD, like
innocent.
You saw that episode of Peaky Blinders on the first one, right?
Yeah.
Where they had to because he's like, I'm back in the war and shit.
Yeah. But at
that
that point,
I'm sure they had that back then. You know what I mean? Who was that? A fart? Did you just fart?
What the hell? It's like wind somewhere.
What you talking about?
Oh, I thought that's how
you. Yeah, when they asked her that, it just blew everybody's mind. It's like, wow, you didn't care about anybody else's safety. You didn't care about your safety other than everybody else's. My bad.
Right. You didn't give a fuck about anybody's safety.
You didn't give a fuck about your own safety. You cared about everybody else and this own guy that could have killed you. And at the end of it all, the guy survived, calmed down, and I guess he was arrested again. And you survived, and everybody else was okay. And you just showed enough the bravery that not a lot of people would show. Period.
Right.
That's how she earned the nickname in her town. Joan of Arc the Brave.
I wonder, is this before or after she saw the vision?
Before.
Okay, because she was still a kid when she saw the vision.
She was a teenager when she saw it. She was about 16, 17 years old, I think, around the time.
It was a couple years before she actually went into action with the inspired France.
Well, she had to inspire France. It took time. She had to do it bit by bit. She didn't just inspire France just out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, they didn't have social media. You had to really inspire people.
Yeah, you really had to convince people, bro. You're a young woman saying that I need to lead the kingdom of the kingdom of France's army.
I feel like back then it was easier to be a fraud, though. Who's gonna say, nah, this motherfucker, he came from over here, he's lying,
See, a lot of people thought it was fake, but then they found the court transcripts.
Well, then it worked though. So I mean, whether she was fake or not, it worked. It ended up working.
Well, the biggest evidence that proves that Joanne actually existed was the actual the deal that she made with France. Was if I do this for y'all, or no, it was a payment for her for doing this for France, and that was instead of paying her, she wanted to go back in town to go see her parents, and she basically asked them to say, hey, if her hometown can have no taxes, they didn't have to pay taxes for the remainder that they existed. So, yeah. Basically, her whole town's basically making her own money without having to worry about paying taxes to anybody.
And that was a little short.